Just to give you a little bit of background, why do I think public engagement is so important? Well, probably because one of the other things that I do alongside being the Vice-Chancellor is that I'm a non-exec on a strategic health authority. And the way in which health engages with its public, and that's patients, carers, politicians, and really everyone, because everybody has a view on health, is really important, and it's sort of right in the centre of what the health service is trying to do in terms of reform and change. So when I reflect back in terms of where are we as a university, there are a number of things that I just want to put sort of out there which might provoke some thinking. UE is describing itself as a partnership university, and when we started to think about that and try to articulate what did we mean by a partnership university, it was trying to capture within the university community a sense of excitement and understanding about what the university was there to do. And we thought that we better start asking that question of ourselves, because increasingly our external publics are asking that question of us. And we started to capture that in the university by saying we are one university, and the university is about people. It's not about buildings, it's not about the estate, it's about the people doing work and engaging with each other and communicating effectively with each other to co-create ideas, to co-create solutions to problems, and to learn off of each other and to work effectively as teams. So in terms of, I guess, where we are on the public engagement front, we needed to get it right internally first before we could start to really engage externally. So what we have to do is work out how do we ensure that it's embedded within the universities in a way that makes sense to academic staff and increasingly makes sense to the entire workforce in the university, because the public engagement agenda is not just about the academics, it is about professional colleagues, technical colleagues also engaging in that agenda. So I think we have a very serious challenge, which is about, okay, you say that it's important, you're giving us all the right messages, but is it embedded in career pathways? Is it as recognised as doing very well in the ref? Is it as recognised as learning and teaching? Could we have public engagement fellows? Could we have professors who are promoting and leading around the public engagement, civic engagement agendas? And I think that's a real challenge in universities. And some universities will be able to navigate a course through that and will make it happen, and other universities might find it more challenging. But if we don't do that, then I think we're in trouble, because we won't have embedded it, it won't be mainstreamed, and we won't be doing what I think we need to do, which is to demonstrate to our publics, our students, our staff, the politicians, the general population, Fred or Frida on the street, what it is that a university can do in addition to that that's already recognised in terms of excellence in learning and teaching and research. It's about impact. How do we change the societies that we're living in? How do we engage with them in a realistic way? And how do we shape together those futures? So if I think about what's going on in Bristol, we've just, the last 2 weeks, for the next couple of weeks, we've got degree ceremonies. So we're working with Bristol Cathedral. You'll see all the students out there dressed up. Part of the message that goes on in that engagement is demonstrating to the parents, partners, families what universities are about. That's one demonstration of our engagement. After here, in about 2 minutes, I'm whizzing up to Bristol Council. There's a group of 5 of us sitting down with the leader and the chief executive to sort out how we're going to save £30 million from Bristol's budget this year. So increasingly, universities are being used as vehicles to begin to engage, debate and shape what is going on in the societies and the communities that surround the university. So the idea of ivory towers are really disappearing. And I guess one of the things that we need to be thinking in terms of public engagement is how do we capture enough enthusiasm, enough energy to embed our universities into those communities, so the universities are seen as part of those communities, informing and shaping those communities, in a model that is probably more like some of the American universities, I'd have to say, where they have significantly changed the face and shape of communities by being totally immersed in the community and working with employers, with public organisations and authorities to change the shape of a city or a town. Now that, for me, is when you can say you've really embedded public engagement in a way that is sustainable. Because if we view public engagement as an add-on, as something that is not core to the work of the university, then I think it will wither and die on the vine. And therefore what we have to do is find a way of linking it to the work that we do in learning and teaching and research and our ordinary day jobs, and make it part of our fabric if it's to be sustainable. If we don't do it, we'll have failed. And if we don't do it, I think we're in for a really rough time, because our publics will continue to ask us, what's the added value? And there's no point us articulating that in a way that we understand. We have to be able to articulate it in a way that touches each and every one of those people who are asking those questions. And that's about us learning a different language, I think. It's about us learning how to communicate and engage more effectively. And it's about us also accepting that on this journey that we're on, we are going to be learning from others in partnership. We don't have the answers. We may be able to create the answers together. We will also need to learn from what's going on across the world, because there are other continents that are probably doing it a lot better than we are. So that's an honest view, I think, of where I am. Hugely important to our university, because we're badging ourselves as a university that wants to engage and wants to work effectively in partnership. So it's high stakes. It's high stakes for a Vice-Chancellor that's sort of flying that flag, because if it doesn't happen, Board of Governors get grumpy, and Board of Governors are the only ones that have the authority to sack a Vice-Chancellor. So I think we're onto something. Challenge is about scalability and embedding it. Thank you very much.